Right guys, so welcome back to a brand new video of career mode, and straight away something's changed and it's right in front of me. That man right there, Pierre Gasly, is my new teammate. Absolutely unreal. The last race with Kubica was the last episode. If you guys want to go watch it, click the link in the top right hand corner to see exactly what happened. But the change has been made official. Kubica's been underperforming for too long now, and Williams have surprisingly drafted in my main rival in the championship, Pierre Gasly, the man who are battling for 6th place. And as a result, Kubica hasn't gone to Red Bull. Instead, Red Bull have actually called up a replacement, and something you might not expect. But in terms of this weekend, though, we have no rain expected for the Japanese Grand Prix, guys, which is absolutely fantastic because I love this track in the dry and it's really, really good fun. Also, in terms of upgrades, no major upgrades here. A lot of teams already preparing for next season's regulation change where the aerodynamics are going to be reset. So we're currently saving up some points. You can see we've got 3,400 points in the top right-hand corner of the screen. But onto the driver transfer, and just to confirm it, George Russell has gone to Red Bull. That's the surprising transfer. I did not expect that. I thought Kubica and Gasly were going to switch places. Instead, they've actually given Russell, who was out on the sidelines, a call, and they've brought him in. So Kubica is out of F1, and it's Gasly as my new teammate, and Russell goes to Red Bull. Overall, that makes both teams and both driver lineups much stronger, in my opinion. So it could be quite interesting going forward to see how this dynamic progresses going in towards the end of the season and also into the start of Season 2. Now, for practice, I did 106% AI around here because Japan is one of the hardest tracks with the AI compared to Paul Ricard. Those two tracks are very, very tough AI-wise. But after practice, I was actually quickest, and I actually managed to get a purple score in the qualifying test, which is something that never really happened. So I pushed it back up to 108, which is what I ran last season around here, and that seemed to suit me a lot better. It seemed to make things very, very close and very competitive. So we are going to proceed with 108% AI now for this race, and maybe for the rest of the season, because compared to last season, in Season 1 we did 108 for Japan until Abu Dhabi. All the races were 108, so we're probably going to do the same thing here again, because that seems to be the way that AI are for the next couple of races. They're a little bit more competitive, so we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to the new challenge with Gasly as my teammate, and you just saw a moment ago on screen there, so I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be an exciting qualifying, and like I said, both Red Bulls will be strong now because Russell's going to be a much stronger competitor, I think, than Gasly in the Red Bull. But we know Gasly, when he's out at that Red Bull, like in real life, he's much stronger in another team. So I think, based on practice, he's going to push me a lot more than Kubica as well. So it's overall going to be much more competitive, and we are the 4th quickest team. Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes all ahead of us, and it's so close between all the teams now. So it's going to be a really intense, really close, and a very, very tight session. So I'm looking forward to it, and I cannot wait because this is my favourite track on the calendar alongside Spa. So I love qualifying around here, and it's going to be the ultimate test as we hit the track for Q1 here. And straight away, jumping into qualifying, this was my best lap in Q1. So we are going to run on board for the entirety of this lap, and it was my first run in Q1. So let's see how we get on here as we cross the start finish and make our way down towards turn 1. All about really throwing the car in at the 50-meter board and try to tighten up for turn 2 if possible. Really, really important to pick up the second apex there as we got in the power and now throw the car into the S's, really committing to the inside curbs here without pushing the limits too much. And it's all about setup and letting the car do the work for you as it rolls through each of these left and rights as we go up through Dunlop. Just about trying to keep it flat, a little bit of a lift on entry, just hesitating a little bit on the throttle, and sector 1 is in the books, and so far so good. We throw the car into Degner 1 and then now to Degner 2, lock up on the front right, but we just managed to slow it down and then quickly back on the power, and you want to break the car for the hairpin and really focus on your exit here. Really, really important to short shift, use third gear for the extra traction and get the power down as soon as possible. Flat out through this long winding back straight as we go up towards Spoon Curve, and you want to turn in at 50-meter board. That's kind of like your reference. Also brake at 50 as well and throw the car in, and again really focus on the second part of Spoon to make a good exit. Use all the curb on the right hand side if you need to, and use overtake now along this entire back straight to really top out on top speed as we approach 130R. And again here, all about just throwing the car in, full commitment, nice and smooth, trying to scrub off too much speed with the steering wheel, and now look for the brake point into the Casio triangle, brake as a shadow appears on the track with the sponsor board above your head, and really focus on the exit here. Again, try and keep it flat if you can up to the line, keep over to the right hand side for the shortest run to the line, and we do set a 26.4, and that lap was more than good enough to get into Q2, so it's a good start for us. Gasly does out-qualify me in Q1, which is quite a rare sight, so already Gasly giving me some trouble as Leclerc is the only man to try and go for the medium tyre in Q1, but so far so good in this session, and we're now going to move into the second part of qualifying in Q2, where it's going to be crucial in terms of the race tyre that we start the race on, because we want to make sure we have the right compound on the car. And so far this first lap was really, really good. It was actually it was probably one of my best laps of the weekend, if not my best lap. The problem was, I made a mistake at turn 1 and 2. I ran wide and completely missed my apex at turn 2. And I lost about 3 to 4 tenths of a second. Other than that, it was a perfect lap, a very, very competitive one. And Bottas currently setting P1 with a 25.8, and we're going to cross the line and set a 26.4 once again. So we match our Q1 effort, and we go P7. But I know there's about 3 to 4 tenths through turns 1 and 2 alone, because we ran wide. We caught the curb on the outside, so I know there's more lap time to find, and we've got this match our previous best over the rest of the lap, and just make sure we keep 1 and 2 tidy. So here we go, straight away onto the pit straight. This is to try and get into Q3. We are currently in, but it's only by a tenth of a second. It's very, very close, so we need to improve here. And straight away this time we keep it nice and tidy through 1 and 2, and you can see already 3 tenths up here, and nice and smooth through that. As we now go into the S's, all about throwing the car in full commitment, and also not overdoing it too much, because you know we've got the advantage in the Delta. It's all about holding it now and not throwing it away or overdoing it, and you want to make sure the lap's clean as we go through up Dunlop, up the hill there. So far so good. A little bit slow to get the power down, but other than that, it was a decent first sector, and we're 4 tenths down currently on Bottas, who's setting the pace through sector 1. Now through the Degners, nice and tidy on there. Nice bit of traction on the exit of Degner 2 as we go up the hill towards the Kobayashi curve or the hairpin. Down to first gear, a little bit of a lock up, but we do manage to get the car rotated and get some good traction on the exit and recover our delta and keep it above 2.5 tenths to 3 tenths as we go through the back straight. Up towards Spoon again, looking at the 50 meter board as your reference for braking and turning. And again, really focus on the second half of Spoon here and keep it tight on the entry and let the car run wide on the exit, using all the curb on the right hand side. And we're currently 3 tenths up here and still improving and keeping that delta nice and positive as we go through the second sector split. We actually set a purple second sector, and we actually gained some time on Bottas there. We're 2.5 tenths off the Mercedes as we throw the car into the final chicane here, committed to the inside curb, nice and easy there. Briefly, just getting the power nice and smoothly, and again taking a nice bit of traction out of the final corner, and we improved by 3.5 tenths, and we actually have a very strong second half of the lap there, and only go 2.5 tenths off of Bottas's time, and comfortably P5, and keeping the tyres relatively unused, and you know the tyre wear quite nice. And you can see that we do go through to Q3, very good lap. This time we out-qualify Pierre Gasly by 2 tenths, but we both get ourselves into the final part of qualifying, and for the first time ever, 2 Williams are in Q3, and what a difference already with Pierre Gasly as my teammate, and George Russell in between the pair of us in the other Red Bull. So overall, a decent Q2, and we've got really good pace here, which is really, really impressive. So all the upgrades all season long paying off, and the car is feeling pretty damn good. But we now move into Q3, and for this first run I was using a used set of rubber. It was the tyres that I used in Q1, and it was actually an incredible lap. We was less than a tenth off from Hamilton's lap after the second sector, but I made a mistake into the final chicane here. I pushed the limits too much under braking, and that's going to sacrifice and compromise my final line out the final corner, and we just threw it away there. Really, really a big shame, because we was half a tenth off, but we ended up being 2.5 tenths off, or nearly 3 tenths coming into the lap. Still P5 with a 26.1, which is still a fantastic lap regardless, but we just missed out, unfortunately. We just threw it away. So I know there's time to make up on the final lap if we just keep the final chicane nice and tidy. So here we go, one last time here, and we're going to see how this lap gets underway. 10 seconds to go. I'm actually going to leave you guys with the lap uncommentated, so enjoy the lap, guys, and I'll be back for the final qualifying results. And there we have it then. That was a lap of Suzuka. A really, really good lap. I absolutely love that one. It was one of our best laps of the season. And we actually get 4th place on the second row. Unlike in Sochi where we got promoted into P4 due to penalties. This time we get P4 on merit. At qualifying Bottas and Sebastian Vettel and George Russell. And also at Pierre Gasly as well by 4/10 in the end. So a very dominant performance from us. Really competitive. The car was absolutely fantastic in that final lap. And it still wasn't 100% perfect. But it was like 98% perfect. Very, very happy with it. A couple of lockups, but we didn't really lose much time. And overall, that was probably one of my laps of the season. Really, really enjoyed it. Got every apex and also made up for the mistake at the final chicane at the Casio Triangle and found those extra tenths. And we actually set a 25.7, which is absolutely unreal. But guys, that is it for qualifying here at Japan, at Suzuka. And I'm looking forward to the race. So let's jump into it. It's time for round 17 for the Japanese Grand Prix. And hopefully we can maybe try and get a podium finish in the race.
We're live today from the Mie Prefecture of Japan as we look forward to the Japanese Grand Prix. The 2015 race here was one of only 5 Grand Prix in history to feature no retirements at all. Although with the highly competitive field we have today, I don't expect we'll be repeating that stat anytime soon. 18 corners make up a lap of the incredible figure-of-8 Suzuka circuit, with 10 to the right and 8 to the left, for a distance of 3.6 miles. Average lap speeds around here are fairly quick. If it stays dry, then expect somewhere in the region of 136 miles per hour. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Martinez, Valtteri Bottas and Russell, Gasly, Magnussen, Raikkonen and Sergio Perez, Vettel, Sainz, Alexander Albon and Ricciardo, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Nico Hülkenberg and Lando Norris. Stroll and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, so here we are then on the grid for the Japanese Grand Prix, starting from 4th place on the grid behind a Red Bull, a Mercedes and a Ferrari. There's good news and bad news to this. Now, the good news is this is our highest qualifying in quite some time. You know, if you take Monaco out of the picture, this is a really strong qualifying for us, and I really, really enjoyed Saturday here. But there is a negative. We are starting the race on the soft tyres, and historically, I do struggle with tyre temperatures. I have been struggling a lot more recently since the cars have gotten a lot quicker. And also with the soft tyres around Japan, with the heavy fuel load, it could be quite a troublesome time. So I feel like we're going to have to be careful. We're going to have to pick our battles wisely. I'm going to have to drive cautiously. And similar to Sochi, the race might not happen until we get to the next compound. Having said that, I'm going to try my best and hopefully make it work. In terms of race strategy, we're going to start on those soft tyres and then move on to the hards for the second stint. If I can stretch it to a medium, I'll try my best, but it is going to be a long way to go. So I think it's probably going to be the hard tyres just as a precaution. But in terms of fuel, we are going to run 0.8 more fuel. So not quite a lap of fuel, a little bit less, but enough that we can attack and defend with hopefully in the race. But overall, guys, that is going to be it for the strategy talk. We're now going to move into things here. Hopefully, we can have a good race. And I want to try and get a podium if possible. That'd be fantastic. That'd be a really, really strong run of form for us. But like I said, tire temperatures do concern me. So we'll see how we go. And hopefully, it's positive rather than negative. With that being said, let's jump into the race. It's time for the Japanese Grand Prix. Let's get into it. Here we go then. Let's try and get a good start off the line here as the 5 red lights come on at Suzuka. Lights out and away we go. It's a good start. Hamilton gets off poorly. Verstappen tries to get through, as does the Ferrari. Into turn 1 we go, and now into turn 2. I'm going to keep my car in the middle of the racetrack. And looks like Hamilton's going to lose 2 places here possibly. As we go into the essence for the first time. Hamilton and Verstappen side by side. We've got on the switchback. Hamilton and Verstappen, there's contact. Hamilton goes round, and we got up to 3rd place. The championship leader has been spun, and he's round, so we're up to 3rd place. Massive controversy. Hamilton right to the back of the pack he goes. He's going to continue on here, but Lewis all the way down to the bottom. And, you know, the man that's got that massive championship lead He's had a scruffy race in Russia last time out. He was only P5. And again, this time it's a spin in the first lap. So Hamilton just struggling at the minute to keep it all together. But what a first lap from us. We've kept in contention. And we're close to Verstappen here. Hopefully if I can just use the slipstream, I'll be able to follow. We've used very little ERS, which is really, really good for us. Because the AI normally use theirs on the first lap of the race. So we'll get our chance to use it now on this straight. Because we have a full battery to deploy. Which will hopefully allow us to just pull away a little bit from the cars behind. Mainly Valtteri Bottas. But this could be interesting. Now Hamilton out of the picture. He's normally the quickest guy. And the Mercedes are fast. So this could be good news for us. But I believe it's Leclerc leading the way at the moment in the Ferrari. And Verstappen P2. And we are P3, so overall a good start to the race, and I'd be happy to hold this for the rest of the race. I can't lie, I'd shake it out now for a podium, but let's see if we can try and go one step further and get after those guys. Tyre temperatures already on the limit, the left-sided tyres 100 and 304. It's going to be one of them races where we're going to be managing that. But for now, we're hanging in there, pace is still good. We've got the front two still in our sights. Bottas keeping me honest, he's on my gearbox. And he's not that far away. I've just got to try and be consistent, try and stretch the pack a little bit and find our pace. Okay, good pace at the moment. Both myself, the front two, and also Bottas behind are pulling away from Russell as DRS is now enabled. The problem is that Bottas is much quicker than me. There's a lot more pace. I've actually got a pretty decent pace compared to Verstappen, but Bottas seems to be the quickest of all of us. Possibly Leclerc might be quicker, but Bottas is close in. He's going to have DRS, so we're going to have to defend from Valtteri. He's got DRS. We're going to cover the inside, the turn one. I've got the inside for two, and there we go. We stay in front. Good defensive driving. But this isn't going to last very long. I think Bottas will get past eventually. I don't want to use all my fuel in the RS at his expense because it's a long race. Personal best from us. I'll pretty much matching the personal best, and Bottas not so close this time. Starting to catch Verstappen a little bit now. Tyres are still holding on, temperatures are not going up. I found a way to drive around it and not lose much time. So it's working at the moment. Let's see if it still works when the tyres start to wear out a little bit.
A new strategy is available on the MFD. Copy that.
Okay, so the team are recommending medium tyres. They think I can make it work, so we're going to try and go for that. To be fair, I could probably make it work because my tyres are not overheating yet, which is something I was expecting. So at the minute it seems like we could adapt our strategy slightly and make it a bit more better for us, which is good news. Let's pick up the pace though, because Bottas is picking up the pace, and he's going to be on my gearbox here. He's getting the slipstream all the way up to 130 R, so he's going to be right underneath me as we go into the Casio triangle, so we might have to defend quite heavily this time. Into turn one. Let's get a good exit. Not the best exit, but definitely not the worst. Here he comes. Defending, but he's got the engine turned up. He's got quite a lot of momentum this time. This is going to be tricky to keep him behind. Into turn two, side by side, but we just about hang on. Giving him a little bit of room, being respectful. Leclerc starting to run away out front. Verstappen's still there though, he's not too far ahead. He's still in our clutches. That was a good first sector from us. And it shows. Tyres are hanging in there, which is fantastic. Ooh, yellow flag, I think. Could it be Russell in his Red Bull debut? No, it's not, it's someone else. Who is it? This is McLaren. Kimi.
Okay, some information on Raikkonen. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
So Kimi out of the race in the McLaren. Not surprising. McLaren have been pretty poor for reliability, to be honest, in this career mode so far. I was going to say though, soft tyres are hanging in there. We've got good pace. And we're holding our own at the moment. And like I said, the gap behind to Russell is increasing. Also, Gaz is actually starting to put pressure on Russell, which is good. So we've got some good points for the team here. But we're on for a personal best. And I'm actually catching Verstappen. Gap's down to 1.2 now. Personal best, there we go, gap's 1.1. If we have a strong lap here, I could just get within Verstappen's DRS, I think. Another good lap. Sector one wasn't great, but we've pulled away from Bottas a bit, and we're definitely within Verstappen's slipstream now. I'm going to turn the engine up just to see if I can creep within the 1 second window. We are 1.03 behind. A little bit of overtake mode should do it. Have we got DRS on Verstappen here? Yes, we have. There we go, that's big. That should hopefully help us out in terms of, Bottas behind, although having said that, Bottas is really going for it this time. Really aggressive. We're going to cover the inside straight away. Bottas was going full commitment with that one. He's still going for the outside, but there's no way past there. So we stay in front for now, but Bottas is really going for this. He's turned the engine up to 11, it seems, and is really going for it. Just got to keep behind as we start to really close in on Verstappen now. And I can smell a second place. Okay, we've got the toe on Verstappen now. We're just gaining by default in the slipstream. Makes things a little bit easier for us. Trying to get a little bit more fuel back on target because I've used quite a bit in this first stint. Trying to keep up with the pace and catching back up to Verstappen. Good thing this Bottas isn't as close now, so...
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
Yep, attention's going to turn towards the pit stop window now. So I'm going to try and save a bit of fuel in the RS. Because we run a bit wide to turn 2. But we get away with it, getting a good exit. Let's try and...
Some information on Verstappen. They have some kind of mechanical problem.
Oh yes, it's Christmas, boys. Here we go. Here's the opportunity. We're going to...
Caution, caution. The virtual safety car is out. Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta.
Okay, I'm not sure what that's for. No one's retired, but a VSC. Oh, okay, Albon's out in the Toro Rosso. I was about to go for a move there on Verstappen, but didn't commit. Right, this is going to be interesting now strategy-wise, because I don't think the VSC is going to stay out long enough for us to get to the pit stop. So it is going to allow us to go a little bit longer on the soft tyre because it's going to let it cool down, which is good news. But Verstappen is struggling with his car, so we are going to get the chance to pass him. So let's just try and nail this VSC restart.
VSC ending, we're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags.
Here we go then, up to speed. VSC is done. Will anyone pit in? Bottas looking for a move around the outside. I'm going to cover off the inside. He did hit my left rear. Verstappen pits in. Bottas will be on my gearbox, so we've got to push on here. Leclerc pits in. We're going long here. We're committed to the mediums.
Pierre is in for his stop.
I think I've got a lap in these because we've let them cool down. So I think there's a fast lap in these, so we can push on. Trying to maybe overcut Verstappen, who's struggling. This could be a good chance. And also the pit lane will be quite crowded. Right then, 2 purple sectors. Gonna turn the engine down, although having said that, someone just snatched my personal best first sector. Into the pit lane we go though. It's a good in lap. On for a fast lap of the race, and we just get the entry nailed. Pushing to the limit, Bottas follows us in. This is going to be a very close pit stop battle. I'm relying on the boys here to give me a good stop. Come on boys, here we go, good stop.
Exit now.
There we go, perfect stop. Good stuff. Here comes Leclerc.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Oh, that's crucial. We've just put Kvyat in between myself. We've just put Kvyat in between myself and Bottas. Yellow flag on the pit straight, but crucially there's a car between myself and the Mercedes. So that's going to take some pressure off. As Magnussen retires now in the Haas. But Leclerc's right there. That's the race win right there in front of us. Can we take it? We'll find out. But this Kvyat being in between myself and Bottas is going to really help us out in terms of taking some pressure off. We're in net P2. Verstappen's long gone. So staying out of the extra lap proved absolutely crucial because we got ahead of Kvyat. And we've cleared Bottas by quite a margin now. So let's go after Leclerc. Let's try and hunt him down. Try and go for the fastest lap of the race. So we're going to get ready here, buckle up and go for it.
Caution.
As we're going to the yellow flag zone here, but we're going to try and go for the purple lap. So strap up and go for a fast lap.
Caution, yellow flags ahead. No overtaking through the caution zone. Be careful until you see the greens.
Okay, we've got to be at 29.5. Let's see if we can do that. This is a good lap so far. We're really closing in on Leclerc. Nice and tidy through there. On the power. And there we go, up to the line. Let's pick up the fast lap of the race, hopefully. Yes, there we go. Leclerc did do a 29.3, but we do a 28.6, and Bottas also doesn't respond behind, so very good pace. Do I think I can catch Leclerc? No, I don't. I think it'll probably start this versus the race. We're bound to hold the P2, but that extra point is something I knew I could achieve, and we've got it for now, so let's hope we keep it. Hamilton's still in the race, and he's towards the back, so he could still potentially pull something out of the bag at the end. At the moment, trying to run at limited paces. I'm trying to get ERS and fuel back on target after that, that qualifying lap, if you will. Bottas isn't really catching, and the pace is good. We are losing a little bit to Leclerc each lap, but Bottas isn't gaining. We're actually closer to Leclerc than we are to Bottas, so this is good for now. Seems like Valtteri with that DRS can't quite close the gap, which is good to see. Okay, we've managed to charge up the battery now. Got it above 90% now. I've got to try and get a little bit of fuel on target, but at least I can run in standard engine mode, which will help us out by default. The consistency is there, which is good. Leclerc slowly crawling away, but I'm also slowly crawling away from Bottas. But yeah, this is good. I'll take a second place without a doubt. So I'm in no rush to get after Leclerc. I quite clearly don't have the pace. I'm on the limit every single lap. I'm just lacking a little bit of pace. And Leclerc has that at the moment, so I can't really touch him. But at least we're keeping Bottas behind, which is good. Gap 2.6 to Leclerc now. Still 3.2 to Bottas. The gap to Bottas is staying the same now. But Leclerc is slowly pulling away. Every single lap is half a tenth or a tenth here or there. And it's slowly going up. I just can't match his pace, unfortunately. I'm on the limit. But the good thing is the tyres are consistent. They're holding on. I've got no temperature issues. And I think second place, unless something goes drastically wrong, is pretty well under control. I don't want to say in the bag because it's not over yet. Still plenty of laps to go. But for now, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I've picked up my pace a little bit in the last couple of laps. Running standard engine mode, a little bit of rich mix actually as well. And we've caught up to 2.3. Bottas now in the 4-second window, so he's definitely dropping back. He doesn't have the pace. But I don't have quite enough fuel at ERS to really attack Leclerc with more at the minute, so just got to keep putting pressure on. You might make a mistake, you never know. Also, it doesn't mean much, but my tyres are 1 lap fresher than his, so you never know. Let's see how we get on. So far the car, this is probably the best it's felt all season. Absolutely fantastic around here. Setup is on point. I made a little tweak to the ride height before qualifying for a bit more stability, and it's paid off. And it's been absolutely phenomenal today. Okay, forget about it. I managed to get the gap as low as 1.8 at one point, but Leclerc's turned the engine back up and he's going for it again, so the gap's now gone up to 2.4. Let's just bring home the second place and we'll take the podium, because that's still a fantastic result. 2 laps to go. Right then, overall, it's been a fantastic race and a fantastic weekend. The car has outperformed all expectations I had. I've not had a podium around this track on this game, and I think I didn't have one last year. Like, overall, Japan's been a bit of a poor one for me. I've always been quick around here, but the AI are too strong. But finally, we are going to get the reward, and looks like we are going to finish in P2 finally, which is fantastic. I've been waiting for a good race around here for so long, and we finally got it. The car was absolutely sublime. Probably the best it's been all season, to be honest, and we deserve this podium. We've had the pace on merit, and we are going to pick up hopefully the point. No, we don't. Leclerc just snatches it at the finish, but still, it's P2 and 2 podiums in a row. What a race.
Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
Ferrari have really pulled it out of the bag today. It's a great win. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, I know it's a bit of a boring answer, but the truth is they simply had the best speed package on the day, and a driver who knows how to take advantage of that. It doesn't matter how much time you spend poring over the stats and planning strategies if you can't keep the pace, and our winner today showed they could do both.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled. Do you think you and your new teammate are going to work well together? Well, that's everything.
Right, so the results are in, and it's Charles Leclerc picking up the win at Japan, and also the fastest lap, so domination from him, and 26 points. We keep close to him, and we kept him honest. 5 seconds behind, and then we kind of came off the pace towards the end of the race. But second place, what a performance. The car was absolutely sublime all weekend, and like I said, the best it's felt all season long. Bottas P3 running off the podium for Mercedes. Sebastian Vettel P4 in the other Ferrari. George Russell in his Red Bull debut was actually the lead Red Bull and beating Verstappen there for P5. Perez splits the Red Bulls, and then Ricciardo 8th, Kvyat 9th, Giovinazzi 10th. Of course, Verstappen had car issues, and unfortunately Pierre Gasly only P11 in the end. I'm not sure what happened in his race, but he seemed to drop off. He was looking really good in the first stint, so I wonder if maybe he had some car trouble at the end or got some damage or something, because he was holding 6th quite comfortably. So, bit of an odd one there. Nico Hülkenberg 12th, Grosjean 13th. Hamilton, after that spin in the first lap, only recovers to 14th place and on a 2-stop strategy as well. Carlos Sainz, Stroll, Norris, and then we've got Magnussen, Albon and Raikkonen all running at the top 20. But in terms of what the race means for the standings, we're really putting the pressure on now, and we are 10 points behind Sebastian Vettel. And, we was catching Leclerc, but Leclerc's responded. So, it's looking like a battle here to the last race of the season for P4 between the two Ferraris and myself. So overall, very, very tasty stuff, as you can see there on screen. And us three are covered by literally 13 points. It's very, very close. Bottas a little bit further ahead, unfortunately for us. But yeah, it's looking good, and it could be a strong end to the season for us in the Williams car. And in terms of the constructors, we're comfortably P4 now. And we've definitely got some certain daylight between ourselves and Racing Point as Ferrari overtake Red Bull for second place. But guys, that is going to be it for this episode of Criminal. Once again, just a reminder, we are saving points up to protect all the aerodynamic upgrades on the car for next season. So for now, we're just stacking up on R&D points. But guys, that is going to be it for this episode, and hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, drop a like on the video, and also get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and also turn notifications to not miss any videos from me. And finally, check out these two videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching this episode of Crew Mode, and I'll see you guys in my next one very soon. But until then, let's goodbye from me.